Yoshi fans, Yoshi's back. Got another build for you. It's not a 1-bar build. It's a 2-bar build. But it is a Stam build. And what I did was I took somebody else's build from Altcast. I believe it's the Deathstroke build. And it looked like a pretty decent build. And I said to myself, how can I build survivability into this so that you can solo dungeons with it? And I came up with a build that works. So this is my first really good solo dungeon stamina build. Haven't given it a name. I never give any of my builds a name. Anybody wants to go ahead and name any of these builds, you're more than welcome. If I like the names, I'll use them. I'll give you credit too. But this is the new build. Let me go over what we got going on here. All right, so this is a mixture of Hunding's Rage and Briarheart. Now with the Briarheart, it has weapon critical, max stamina, and weapon critical. So you're getting extra crit damage from this and extra stamina. Also, when you deal critical damage, you have a 10% chance to increase the weapon damage by 434 for 10 seconds. While this effect is active, your critical strikes heal you for 588 health. And this occurs once every 15 seconds. So that gives you a passive heal, which is pretty nice. And then the Hunding's Rage gives you weapon crit and stamina. So we're dealing a lot of crits, and we got a lot of stamina build up here. The other thing I have is the agility set for the jewelry, all stamina recovery. Also maximum stamina. So I'm looking at maximizing out the stamina, and at the same point, maxing out max out damage and maxing out the crit damage. So if we look here, I'm only critting about 44% of the time, but you're going to find out that's okay for this build. It works. And actually, if I go to my, wrong screen, go to my Mundus Stone, you'll see I'm using the shadow to increase the crit damage. So when I do crit, which is 2/3 of the time, or 40% of the time, which is 2/5 of the time, figure it out what you will. When I crit 40% of the time, it does quite a bit of damage. So I'm critting almost every other hit. My health I have set for 28, my stamina at 36. It seems to give me a good health here for keeping alive and enough stamina for rolling around in the muck. So let's get into skills here, because skills are fun. So what we have for skills, Barb Trap. I throw it down, and when some dummy comes along and triggers it, the trap deals 3,322 physical damage, additional 23,751 physical damage over 18 seconds. I could care less about that. Here's the part that I like. Grants you minor force, increasing your crit damage by 10% for the duration. That's more crit damage. Awesome. Awesome. And it also immobilizes whoever stepped on it for 2 seconds. Big deal. Next thing, Soul Splitting Trap. You guys know I love this skill. You deal 6,888 magic damage to enemies in a wide range around you. And it also deals 12,582 physical damage to target any other nearby enemies over 10 seconds. This is incredible. Incredible. A lot of damage. Also fills an empty soul gem if you happen to have one. Not that I care about that. But the thing is, this is a magic skill. Why am I using this on a stamina guy? Just go with the build, guys. Just go with the build. Trust me, you'll have plenty of magicka for this. Next thing I'm using, Wrecking Blow. This thing is radical. Slam an enemy with an upward swing, dealing 9,173 physical damage. That's huge. You want to get better? I'll give you better. It grants you in power for 5 seconds, increasing the damage of your next light attack by 40%. So basically, it's kind of like physical damage, free heavy attack. Physical damage, free heavy attack. And by free heavy attack, I mean a light attack that hits as hard as a heavy. Doesn't give you any stamina back, but boy does it hit hard, and it hits fast. So it gives you a nice 1-2 punch. Only usable against one character at a time, but you're not gonna have a problem with that on this build. And I'm gonna show you as we go along here. Carve. This is the morph of Cleave. Carve is really cool. You basically does a mighty swing that deals 4,985 physical damage to enemies in front of you, all of them, in a 7-meter cone. It is huge. You know, well, not as big as Soul Splitting Trap, mind you, but it hits a lot of guys in front of you. It also causes a bleed for 8,330 physical damage over 10 seconds. Nice, very nice. This is my first area of effect I will be using, one of several. Bound armaments. It says that it increases your block mitigation by 36% for 3 seconds. So I can sit there and block and take a third of the damage. I'm not going to sit there and block. I'm not a blocker. You guys know this. You've watched me. I don't block well. What I have this on my bar for is while slotted, the max stamina is increased by 7%. That's an increase in stamina. And light attack damage increased by 11%. And I'm going to be doing a crap load of light attacks. So I'm going to benefit from that. The weapon I'm using for this, maybe I should go back to that, is just a standard battle axe. The axe is the best weapon in my opinion for this, because I'm going to get all the 2-hit benefits, which we'll get into here in a little. Or this is the nicest 2-hand weapon for what I'm doing here. We'll get into all that. The ultimate I'm using, Summon Charged Atronach, which, again, a lot of people don't really like this. I know I wasn't a big fan for a while, but I don't know, it's kind of grown on me again. It deals 6,048 shock damage when it's first put out on the field, stuns enemies for 3 seconds, and then it zaps the closest enemy, dealing 2,935 shock damage every second. Periodically deals 6,048 shock damage to enemies around it. That's the part that's really cool. This is an area of effect blizzard, so to speak. It is really cool. And of course, I have a back bar for this build. Remember, I told you I'm not cheating. Not cheating. This is not a 1-bar build. It's 2-bar. The second bar, I have also the bound armaments, so that no matter which bar I'm on, I get the light attack damage bonus. I still have the Summon Charge Atronach, so I can hit that from either bar. But I have some other little goodies here we'll talk about. Hurricane. Hurricane is a nice little buff. It hits enemies with wind nearby for 632 physical damage every second for 15 seconds. Wind grows in damage and size, increasing up to 150% more damage and up to 9 meters in size. Pretty cool. But that's not the best part of it. While you're in this form, you gain major resolve, major ward, major expedition, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 5,280. This is a nice little buff that says you're not going to get hurt a lot. Your movement speed also increases by 10%, so you get to run a little bit too. So that's pretty cool. All around, nice buffs all. Next item. And actually, I realized I got to change this on this bar because I was playing around with it. Bad Yoshi. So I'm going to put on here what was on here before, once I remember exactly where it is. Critical Surge. Critical Surge is going to increase weapon damage by 20% for 33 seconds. Cool. Also, while active, dealing a critical strike will heal you for 3,300 health. This effect can occur every second. Majorly cool, because I'm going to crit a lot and I'm going to heal a lot. Next, Arrow Barrage. Launches a multitude of arrows in the sky, rain down, dealing 1,251 physical damage to enemies in the area every second for 8 seconds. That is part of my damage over time. And the last piece of damage over time is Poison Injection, which shoots an arrow coated in binary poison, an enemy dealing 337 poison damage, and an additional 12,055 poison damage over 10 seconds. That is for one target. And the other thing about it is the damage over time deals up to 85% more damage to enemies under 50% health. So let me explain how this all works. And then I will get into the passives after that. But let me explain a little bit of philosophy here. So, barb trap. We throw it down. We get somebody trapped. That's going to increase our critical damage. So we're doing more damage. Through the soul splitting trap, we're going to take and capture everybody in our little soul splitting trap field. As a matter of fact, let me switch this around because I'm going to show you it's actually probably better to have the soul splitting trap on your back bar and to have under Daedric Summoning, I believe it was. Yep. No. Under Critical Storm or Critical Surge on your front bar. All right. So again, let's go through the philosophy here. So I'm throwing down the barb trap. I'm going to, I hit the crit surge so that I'm going to be gaining health from any damage I do. And then if I'm dealing with multiple enemies in front of me, I can throw a carve and carve them all up and do some big damage to them over time. And with the Wrecking Blow, if I'm dealing one-on-one and just trying to get rid of some guys, I can do an old 1-2. Wrecking Blow, light attack. Wrecking Blow, light attack. Just chew them right up. Back bar. Hurricane for some defense. Soul Splitting Trap to put a dot on everybody around me. Arrow Barrage to put another dot on everybody around me. And then if I'm trying to do solo damage on someone that's almost dead, or if I'm working on a boss, maybe I'll throw a poison injection. Doesn't happen very often. So, this is going to take a little work to get you through the rotation, but I will get there. Let me do the passives. We'll go through the constellation points. We'll get back to this. So, Dark Magic, not using anything. Daedric Summoning, I'm using Summon Charge Atronach. Bound Armaments, as far as passive abilities, Power Stone and Daedric Protection. Power Stone reduces the cost of your ultimates by 15%. Daedric Protection, increase your health and stamina recovery by 20% while you have a Daedric Summoning ability slotted, which is Bound Armaments, which you will always have. So that's a bonus you constantly get. Really, really nice. Storm Calling. We're using Hurricane, Critical Surge, and for passives, I have Capacitor to increase Magicka by recovery by 10%. Remember, we are using Magicka on this build, so it does matter. Energize, which increases physical and shock damage by 5%. We're doing physical damage. Amplitude increases damage done against enemies by 1% for every 10% current health they have. And Expert Mage increases weapon and spell damage by 2% for each sorcerer ability slotted. So I have 6% bonus right there. Going to weapons. Two-handed. I'm only at level 34, so I don't even have this maxed out yet. I have Wrecking Blow, Carve. I was going to play with Reverse Slice. I just didn't like it. Just didn't care for it too much. So what I'm using otherwise here is Forceful, which I'll upgrade again. Light and heavy attacks damage up to 3 other nearby enemies for 50% of the damage inflicted to the primary target. Understand that one. I'm doing a lot of light attacks, so my light attacks are going to attack up to 3 enemies nearby me at all times. Heavy weapons, because I'm using an axe, it's going to grant melee attacks 16% chance to apply a bleed, dealing 8,574 physical damage over 6 seconds. That's rather nice. Balanced Blade is going to reduce the stamina cost by 15%. And for follow-up, it says when you deal damage with a fully charged heavy attack, your next direct damage attack used within 7 seconds deals an additional 5% damage. The only way I'm going to do a heavy attack is if I'm running low on stamina, then I will do 1 or 2 to get my stamina back, and it'd be nice to have that little extra damage right after that. Battle Rush I haven't got yet. Increase your stamina recovery by 15% for 10 seconds after killing a target. That's going to be really nice when I get that. So definitely I will be adding that on to this build. Brings us to the bow. Bow. For the bow, I am using Arrow Barrage and Poison Injection. Now, I don't have access to Rapid Fire or Ballista yet. Maybe when I get those, I'll put that into this build. I don't know yet. But as far as looking at what the passives I'm using, Long shot gives you a damage bonus up to 12% against enemies at long range. Accuracy increases weapon crit rating by 1095. Ranger reduces the stamina cost of bow abilities by 15%. Hawkeye, dealing damage with a light or heavy attack, increases the damage of your bow abilities by 5% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. And Hasty Retreat grants you Major Expedition for 2 seconds after you use Roll Dodge. Major Expedition increases your movement speed by 30%. All good things. So that's what I have there. Armor, of course we're using medium armor only. Take the dexterity bonus, increase your weapon crit rating by 328 for each piece of medium armor equipped. I have all medium armor, so I get all the bonuses. 2300. Windwalker increases your stamina recovery by 4% per piece of medium armor equipped. Again, I'm full suited, 28% bonus. Also reduces the stamina cost of your abilities by 2% per piece, which is 14%. Improved sneak. I have it, but I'm not going to sneak around a dungeon. So it just doesn't make sense. But I have it anyway. Agility increases your weapon damage by 15% because I have 5 or more pieces of medium armor. And athletics increase the movement speed bonus of sprint by 3% for each piece of medium armor equipped, which gives me a bonus 21%. Reduces the cost of roll dodge by 4%, which gives me additional 28% reduction of roll dodge cost. Nice, nice, nice. So let's go into the constellations here. We'll start out with the Shadow. I put 37 into Tumbling to reduce the cost of roll dodge, and 25% into Shadow Ward to reduce the cost of block. Tenacity I set for 64 to increase the magic and stamina of my fully charged heavy attacks restore. I don't know. I don't use a lot of that in this build. I might drop Tenacity from this build. Right now I'm letting it in there. But to be honest, I'm not using a lot of heavy attacks on this for restoration. Mooncalf increases stamina recovery by 13, in this case 13%. I have it set for 64, Tenacity 64. Health I have set to 43 to increase my health recovery. Warlord reduces cost to break free. I have that set to 37. Quick recovery increases your healing received. I have that set to 35. Party reduces damage taken from physical poison and disease damage. Set to 64. Thick Skin reduces damage taken for damage over time. 51. Elemental Defender reduces your damage taken from flame, frost, shock, and magic damage. Set to 64. I have Ironclad, which reduces damage taken against direct damage attacks. That's set for 56. And we'll get into the blues. Thaumaturge increases damage done by dots, and we have lots of dots. Set that for 56. Precise Strikes increases your critical damage and critical healing, which we'll do quite a bit of. That's at 61. Piercing increases physical penetration. I have that 35. And Mighty increases your physical poison and disease damage. Let's have that set for 49. Physical Weapon Expert, I just threw 8 in there. Increases damage done with light and heavy attacks for 2-hand, 1-hand shield, dual wield, and bow weapons. This was Werewolf. Didn't know about that. That's nice. Master Arms, set that for 61. Increases damage done with direct damage attacks, which we're doing some of those for sure. I didn't put anything in Apprentice. So, that's all the stuff. So, go and get back into, again, theory here. How do you play a 2-bar build? Oh my god, it's going to be so tough. No, it really isn't. So, here's how I play this. I'm always sitting on bar 2 when I'm running into a room. I'm going to hit the Hurricane as I run in. That's going to make it so I don't get killed so easily. And then I'm going to hit them with a Soul Splitting Trap number 2. Once I do that, then I'm going to take and I'm going to drop the arrows on them, volley, and then I'm going to switch bars. I don't bother with the poison arrow, or what? It's not actually a poison arrow. I am sorry. It's poison injection, and it's arrow barrage. It was the other one here. So again, Hurricane, Soul Splitting Trap, arrow barrage. Don't bother with poison injection. Switch bars. Boom. Now I'm on this bar. I'm going to be up on somebody about at this point. I'm going to drop trap on them. I'm going to hit critical surge to prevent myself from dying. That's good for 23 seconds. And then if there's a big group in front of me and they're all healthy, I'm going to carve them up. And if there isn't, and I'm just doing one-on-ones and they're under, I'd say they're probably at 50% health, then I'm going to use Wrecking Ball Light. Wrecking Ball Light. So I'll play it through here so you can see it. It's not as complex as it seems. When you see it in action, you might understand. 2, 3, swap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. They're all gone. And as you can see, I was able to deal with all those rather quickly. Switch back to bar 2. Now, let's deal with these little pretties in here. Now, I could throw down my ultimate in here and make this easier for this room. I'm not going to bother. I'm going to get all these guys using standard fare here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 4. 4. And I'm counting off the numbers below of the items I'm using. 4, 3, 3 light attack. And I'm always using a light attack in between, just so you know. I always use a light attack in between. And look at my stamina. I am keeping up with the stamina. I'll throw up a little health here. See, he healed me right up. Go to bar 2. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to immediately hit a 4 here. 1, 2, 3. Get rid of him. 3. Get rid of him. So as you can see, I was able to clean up really quick here. No problem. Go back to bar 2. Okay. Let's roll through this without alt the narrative. Whoop. Accidentally hit a button I don't want. Oh. How did you get away? No soup for you. Alright. So, we're going to come up on our first boss here. Now, for those that know this boss, he can take quite a bit of health away from you. So, this was kind of the inspiration for this build, because I tried different builds, and while I could really wallop this guy and do a lot of quick damage, it just seemed like he was chewing away at my health, and I didn't like it. You know Yoshi, he doesn't like being squishy. So that's why I put Critical Surge in this build and a couple other things to, you know, kind of bolster my health here. So I'm going to show you just how well I can just wallop this guy. So what we're going to do is we're going to run in, we're going to drop the Atronarch, and we're going to beat the hell out of everything. The other thing you're going to notice about this build is that it does generate rather quickly the ultimate. Now I'm going to use some poison arrow this time because it's a one-on-one fight, and I'm going to stay away from using the cleave. There's just no sense to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Light attack. Make sure you put them light attacks in between. They matter. Do 3 of those. And he's done. See, that didn't take long at all. Pretty good, right? And my ultimate is back up to being ready again. Again, you gain ultimate quickly on this build. Now, this room is a nightmare. And I'm going to tell you why. This build doesn't do well when the enemies are scattered. If you can get everybody around you, you can survive really easy. But if everybody is scattered, it's not such a good thing. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump in the middle of this room. We're going to wait for this guy to pop up. Hit that shield. Hit that shield. Hit this shield. And then start doing a whole bunch of damage here. Got to kill these guys quick. Yeah, and that wasn't quick enough. It happens. Good news is, like we always say, you get a free life. Provided you have finished the game and you have allowed yourself to take my favorite little bonus, which is soul summons. One free mulligan. Now we're going to try to finish the rest of this without dying again. That's the goal here. And the thing is, we were ridiculously close to finishing it the last time as far as finishing this area. See? Alright. So, here comes a little fun with the little imps. They're going to all come out. I'll show you how to easily get rid of these guys. They're not hard. Hurricane. Ah. And this time I'm going to use the cleave. Get rid of these guys real quick. They're gone. Carve. Sorry, carve is the actual word for it, not cleave. Cleave is what it is before it becomes carve. Yay! Ah, this guy. Alright, we'll throw the Atronach down. And this guy, all you really have to do is just go through your rotations as if you're just fighting the one guy. You can pretty much ignore the other guy that gets thrown out there. That dark stalker that he throws out there really doesn't do much to you. Poison arrow is a nice touch on this guy. Oh, I can hit another one of the ultimates already. Like I said, it just regenerates so fast. It's unbelievable. And the damage I'm doing is actually really nice. I mean, granted, I'm not doing 30k or 40k damage, but I want you to think about this and think about this hard. I have no dungeon gear. I have no trial gear. This is a standard build, and I can't say that enough times. This is a build anybody could have. It does not require you to, spend years in dungeons getting all this other gear. However, this will give you what you need to go in those dungeons with people and be able to do those things. One other thing I forgot to point out is it's not a bad idea actually to throw a carve at this guy, because you think, well, that's area of effect, why would you bother? And the thing is, there's a bleed damage to this, so you want to throw that out as well. and he's pretty much going to toast this round. There he is. He's done. Alright. And I never ran out of stamina. I started to run low, but I never ran out. And if I would have the battle would have went further, you know, I could have used heavy attacks to get the stamina back. Would have worked. So, let's go after these guys. And again, once I get down to about half health, I'm just using regular wrecking ball on them. That's it. I'm not using the cleave anymore. Just, it doesn't make sense. Now here's where things get interesting. This room here, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to slip the Atronach in and get in without dying. So here's what we're going to do. 1, 2, Atronach, and then get... Here's where we have to kill as many as we can, as quick as we can. Mission accomplished. This guy's as good as toast. And you saw that... Oh, again, Wrecking Blow hits one enemy, but you saw, as I was hitting him, it was actually hitting both enemies at once. That is, again, the light attack hitting both of them, is what it was. So I am getting splash damage from that. Forgot to add... I only have 14,592 health. I'm not using any food buff at all. Not at all, which means I wouldn't have died earlier had I had the food buff. I just didn't see a need for it. Okay. Attack these guys. Whoops. Got off on my buttons here. All right, they're all cleared out. Yeah, this build is a little forgiving. You know, if you make mistakes like I did back there, you're not necessarily going to die. Other builds, you know, you might make a mistake and, you know, you're just toast. Okay. Here, we're going to throw down another Atriarch. Let's get in the room. And what I'm going to do is, as quick as I can, is I'm going to get rid of the imps, because they're my only real threat in this room, in this battle. This just became a mono battle for the most part. I mean, he throws out a few skeletons, but they're actually a joke. Wow, already I can hit the ultimate again. I had Atriarch up almost the whole time of that battle. Oh, I love this game. Alright. I'm going to slow down here, get some of my stamina back. One of the things that we often forget in this game, it's not a race, especially when you're doing a dungeon solo. You know, if you think you need to take a moment to relax when you run into something and you need to get your stamina back after the battle, by all means do so. Don't be the idiot that just keeps charging forward and gets killed because you don't want to take some time to wait for your health to recover. Or wait for your stamina to recover. It's just plain silly. I see a lot of good players do that, though. I don't even know why, but they do. Uh-oh. There we go. Again, sometimes you just have to back out of a situation rather than get killed by it. Alright. Now we're going to do a little interesting number here. I'm going to drop the Atronach on those guys over there, and then I'm going to go over and attack. Let me think about this. I'm going to try to do this one up the middle. I always try this different ways. I'm trying to find the best way to do this one. Been trying for days here. And that way it seems to work pretty good. And I can use Atronach again. I love it. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop them right in the middle of this little pod right here. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's just having a blast. I mean, literally. Okay, so we've reached the end of the banished cells. All we gotta do is beat this guy. Anybody that's watched me beat banished cells with every single one of my builds knows my rules. I'm not going to block anything. Well, I might block here and there out of reflex, but I'm just going to let this guy whoop me around, and I'm going to let the build survive. If the build survives this, it's good. If the build doesn't survive this, it wasn't worth it. All right. I'll block this one. It's so obvious. I just can't take it. I'm sorry, I can't take it. And we're almost done here. And another ultimate, why not? And we're going to beat this guy up one more time here. Oh, we got a little bit more life in him, yep. Hang in there, folks. Hang in there. We're going to finish this. This is the last boss. Uh-oh. Now your health back up here. There we go. And we'll do one more boss on him. Or one more ultimate. Sorry. And he's done. Toast. And there you go. That is the StamSorc 2-bar build. 2-bar. But at the same point, it is a build that you can solo dungeons with. You saw I just soloed Banished Cells. It's not the most difficult dungeon in the world, but at the same point, you know, it's well enough to illustrate the fact that the build does work. So, if you have any comments, drop them down below. Definitely, if you hang around, I'm going to be doing more of these stam builds. That's what we're going to do now. Is from here on out, it's going to be stamina builds. We're going to see if we can make some really good ones here. And again, these are all going to be about builds that can solo dungeons. I'm not looking for the best DPS builds. I'm sick and tired of people going, oh, I get 80k DPS. And then when they fight a boss by themselves solo or end up in a room with a whole bunch of enemies, they die instantly because they can do 80k for about 2 seconds. They can't sustain it. So these are builds that are sustainable in dungeons, and they're very, very good builds. And these are builds that anybody can use. You don't have to be somebody who has all the best trial gear, all the best dungeon gear, all the best in slot to use these builds. So I thank you for watching. Leave me a comment down below, and if you enjoy the videos, definitely subscribe. Thank you very much. You're awesome. Take care.